The final installment of The Last Kingdom is coming to Netflix very soon, and fans are hyped to know what happens to their favorite characters. This includes the famous Brida, played by actress Emily Cox. Will Brida's backstory be told? Let's find out. Firstly, who is Brida? Brida of Dunholm is one of the main characters in The Last Kingdom. She has a Saxon origin and is adopted by Danes after her village is destroyed by a raiding party. It was revealed in the show that the raiding party belongs to a rival clan of Vikings. Brida lived with the Danes and grew up to be a feisty lady. She also accepted her new clan and came to love the Danes for feeding and protecting her. In the show, she was also extremely close to Uhtred, and they both made a great pair during their young days. Even though she was from a different clan, Brida was free-spirited like the rest of the Danes, and considered them to be her true family. If you've seen the show, you probably know her romance with Uhtred. They both fell in love with each other when they reach adolescence, but they have a tragic love story and Brida becomes Ragnar's woman instead. Will Brida's backstory be told? Brida's backstory is probably one of the most important things to be discussed in Season 5 of The Last Kingdom. The show has delved into each character and has explored their histories and complex lives, but Brida hasn't received a lot of attention, even though she's one of the most important characters on the show. Things might change for her in the last season, and we might get a chance to see glimpses of her traumatic past. One thing's clear, Brida is always going to stay true to her Danish upbringing. She made this very clear when Uhtred was conflicted between his loyalties to the Danes and supported the other side. Brida called him a traitor and cut off ties with him because she was angry. Fans are now keen to know where her explosive anger stems from and why she cares so much about loyalty to the Danes. Some fans have even highlighted how Uhtred and Brida were both Saxon slaves who were raised by Ragnar the Fearless and his family, but Uhtred was adopted as a son and Brida wasn't. The show never really tells us whether she was adopted into the family or continued to live as a slave. Fans are hoping that the showmakers reveal Brida's family history and whether she was adopted like Uhtred as well. Brida and Uhtred were treated as slaves for a long time, but even then, they were allowed to be friendly with Ragnar's kids. They also became best friends with Tyra and Rorik. As time passed, they were treated better than regular slaves. The Danes trusted them so much that they trained both the children for war to fight alongside the rest of the family. People feel that Brida's story hasn't been revealed yet because the show completely removed 60% of the first book and changed the backstory for both the characters. This is because in the books, Uhtred is first cousin to Aethelred, Lord of Mercia, and second cousin to Aelswith, mother of Edward and Aethelflaed. But this storyline isn't followed strictly in the show. Fans have also noticed that there are notable differences between Brida in the books and the Netflix show. For example, Brida in the show is a little difficult to understand, just like an enigma, because she can be calculating at times, but also makes reckless choices all the time. But in the books, she is definitely clever and calculating, and later she also becomes malicious and vengeful. Some fans even think that Brida in the books showed potential to become one of the most evil characters in the series. This hasn't reflected enough in the show, but Season 5 might have some character development for her, especially after her backstory reveal. Brida and Uhtred's relationship. One of the most important things in the show is the relationship between Brida and Uhtred. In Season 4, Brida turned against her best friend, lover, and confidant when she saw that he was not being loyal to the Danes. Their relationship saw a great deal of turmoil after that, and fans who were shipping the couple were not happy to see their relationship take such a bitter turn. It's also clear that Brida's breakup with Uhtred has changed her quite a bit. This is because Brida and Uhtred grew up with each other. They had a good relationship, supported each other through hard times, and they were in love. But Brida was so hurt by Uhtred's betrayal of the Danes that she decided to destroy everything that he loved. Fans were confused by her violent outburst of anger, which is also why everyone is waiting for her backstory to be revealed in Season 5. According to Alexander Draymond, the cast and crew are working tirelessly to develop this story. It's clear that The Last Kingdom Season 5 will continue to focus on Brida and Uhtred's broken relationship. Draymond stated that the showmakers were working on making the show's story as authentic as possible by keeping the timelines close to the ones in the original books. He revealed, "We're faced with the problem now, getting into Season 5 where Uhtred is technically, I think he starts at 54 and ends up at 60 in the books. That's a problem right now because how do we make it look like Uhtred has aged without it looking comical? We're working on. Other important stories that are going to develop in the last season of this show is the amalgamation of England. Not just this, Aethelflaed fell out of love with Uhtred over the throne in the previous season, so the showmakers might reveal some developments on their relationship too. The Last Kingdom Season 5 release date. No one really knows exactly when The Last Kingdom Season 5 will be released. The series has managed to stay true to its regular production cycle despite the global health situation raging on. It was also reported that the filming wrapped in June 2021, and the episodes are now in their post-production stage. The post-production stage is important because the showmakers need to get the editing and visual effects right. We probably won't see Season 5 until 2022 starts. That means we still have a couple of months to wait before we see our favorite characters grace the screens once again. In April 2021, Draymond and other stars from the show made a video confirming that the Last Kingdom crew had returned to Hungary to shoot its final season. That was the last we heard from the cast of the show, and people don't really know how much more time the showmakers are going to take. Draymond said, "Considering the circumstances, we're incredibly fortunate to be in production at the moment. Everyone is doing their part. It's going very well so far, and we hope to be able to bring something really special. I wanted to say thank you for all your continued support because we wouldn't be here without you, and we're all sending you lots of love." And lastly, who is returning for the final season? Now that we know that there's definitely going to be a Season 5 for the show, let's go over the characters that are going to lead this season. According to insider information and some behind-the-scenes photos that were taken during shoots, a ton of our favorite characters are back in action. Some appearances are expected, but fans might be seeing some exciting new characters grace the screen this time. One of the people who is definitely returning for Season 5 is Uhtred of Bebbanburg, who is played by the talented Alexander Draymond. Without Uhtred, the show is largely incomplete, and his character still has to resolve a lot of conflict. This includes his troubled relationship with his ex-best friend Brida. Now that Uhtred is a fierce warrior with ties to both the Saxons and the Danes, it's clear that he's going to have some important missions this season too. Other popular characters who are returning include Brita, who has a lot to do in the next season. Like Uhtred, she's also one of the main characters on the show and has a lot of conflict in her own life that has to be resolved. This includes her anger towards Uhtred and her troubled past, most of which is still unknown. Some other important characters that are making it to the last season include Aelswith, King Edward, Finan, Sihtric, Alsfirth, Aethelflaed, Hastin, Aethelhelm, Aelfled, Edith, Sigtryggr, and Bishop Benedict. Mark Rowley, Ewan Mitchell, and Arnis Fedorovicus, who play Uhtred's loyal allies, Finan, Oser, and Sihtric, have become fan favorites and are going to be seen defending their friend in the next season. The actors are great friends in real life. In fact, the trio was recently spotted having fun in a picture from the set. These pictures were reportedly from the episode Draymond has directed, and more stills will be released soon. With that, we'll wrap up this video. Thanks for watching.